If there's one thing gamers of any age are used to, it's hype. Increasingly though, we're pretty used to disappointment as well, and as we look into the games coming in 2018, it's fair to say there are a few games that have all the hallmarks of being DOA, meaning disappointing on arrival. So join us as AltChar gazes into its crystal ball once more and pick out 5 games we really hope are gonna be great, but, well, the signs, they're not great. The Far Cry series always seems to tick the right boxes, and man, do they get their hype train up to speed in a hurry. An open-world first-person shooter with a world of possibilities amid a deep and complex story which always looks good in the trailers. What could go wrong? Well, have Far Cry games ever actually worked on launch day? Google and Reddit seem filled with people trying to fix the games to this day, and have the Far Cry games actually been good? What's at the core of the game? After a few hours, it can feel like a mass of shallow battles and lengthy fetch quests, the scenery blending into nothing but a map with pointers to go places to do a thing, but do you really care? Well, you're supposed to, I guess. This time, you'll be pitted against radical religious right-wingers in the US Deep South. Okay, fair play Ubisoft, not many saw that coming. Unfortunately, as edgy an idea as it seemed at the time, because of the current state of domestic politics with modern-day Nazis actually marching on the street, the supposed messages this game might have tried to convey will most likely be drowned out by the fake outrage of the Tumblr and 4chan SJW and AI right brigades. White American Christians as the baddies? Yeah, that's gonna end well. A Metal Gear game without Hideo Kojima is not a Metal Gear game, but that won't stop Konami attempting to squeeze every penny they can get while potentially ruining the franchise's legacy. Here's the official description of the game. This can be summarized as an insane-sounding combo of wormholes, alternate realities, zombies, and parallel timelines, more Twin Peaks than Metal Gear. Now, Kojima did toy with the idea of having a zombie mode in Metal Gear Solid 5, but without his insanity to direct the game, we fear this next outing could be pretty bad. But in all fairness, while Konami have been getting hit with a stick for the last 2 years, they did redeem themselves by fixing Super Bomberman R and continuing to support the game, but turning the conspiracy-inducing wonder that is Metal Gear into a zombie game for some cash? Nah, that's a bit 2013. I'd be less surprised if they changed the game to Metal Gear Battlegrounds based on current trends. We can go back in time, so Ace Combat games are never gonna have the appeal of 2 and 3 on the PlayStation, but now, with loot boxes, pre-order bonuses, purchasable cosmetic skins, and who knows what else, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown has all the ingredients of being an absolute cluster of every evil practice you can think of. Also, since World of Tanks has become the global addictive stat bench, they've got to be looking at this model for some extra cash. To add the cherry on the cake, it's gonna have VR elements exclusive to PS4. Novelty gameplay for hardware has never been good. Still, Bandai Namco have been pretty good to us so far. Let's cross our fingers they can resist turning to the dark side. The Final Fantasy VII Remake, if it comes out this year, is going to suck. It's gonna be a disappointment. Square Enix are not doing this because they think they can do a good job of it, they're doing it for the money. Based on Square Enix's DLC and pre-order strategy, you can only imagine what we're gonna see.
The game that changed an industry. The game that taught gamers the meaning of grief. The game that created questionable cosplay is back, as you have never seen it before. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Why attempt to form emotional connections with PlayStation 1 polygons when you can look at it all in 4K glory? Who needs turn-based action by the acclaimed active time battle system when you can have real-time battles like Final Fantasy XV? If George Lucas can improve the original Star Wars trilogy, we can improve Final Fantasy VII. Pre-order now for an exclusive new breed of Chocobo, 10 materia boxes, and the Ares Lives DLC. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Haven't decided if we're gonna change the plot yet. Not saying this to troll, and we know it's a faux pas to speak badly of Hideo Kojima and conversely nicely about Konami, but Death Stranding is gonna be the biggest disappointment of 2018. Kojima needs Konami. Blasphemer! You guys watch wrestling? Of course you do. Gaming and wrestling fans have merged into one conglomerated mob. Even if you don't like wrestling, you've been around the internet enough to be aware of something called the Attitude Era in WWE. The Attitude Era, that time when wrestling was good and GoldenEye was the greatest game ever. In the late 90s and early 2000s, two wrestling companies reigned in America, WWF and WCW. WWF was the underdog until it launched its Attitude Era under the creative direction of Vince Russo and brought us superstars like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Kane, D-Generation X, The Rock, and many, many more, all with richly written backstories to power epic feuds that saw it power ahead of WCW in just 2 years. But then, with the promise of creative freedom and more money, Russo crossed games to WCW, who gave him carte blanche to do what he wanted. Russo's philosophy of Crash TV put WCW into overdrive with more edge, more backstage, more sex appeal, more vignettes, more backstory, and more new faces promoted from the mid-ranks. But this time, he didn't have the WWF and owner Vince McMahon to keep him on a leash. And what happened? Well, less than 2 years later, the WCW was broken up, with its one-time smaller rivals scooping up the best bits. So basically what I'm saying is, the Kojima is like Russo. Sony have let Kojima loose on the gaming world with money. This guy. As much as we want Death Stranding to be Kojima's magnus opus, has anyone watched any of the trailers for the game and not been like this?
I'm really excited to share the longest world premiere we've ever had at the Game Awards. This comes from one of the world's leading developers, and I'm so honored that it's here tonight. Please sit back and enjoy.
Brilliant. I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
So those are the games that we think are going to end up being disappointments in 2018. Let us know what you guys think. Do you agree with us, or do you think that some of these games might actually end up being great? We'd love to hear from you, and please make sure to head over to AltChar.com for much more content like this. Thanks a lot for watching, and this is Sabriel, and see you in the next video.